Alright, these are the DJ Auto Hella replicas. So these are pretty much the replica of like the European headlight. I mean, everything on them is fairly close. The look, even the auto leveling. So if your car comes with auto leveling, they still have that feature. But I will say this, just like the OEM headlights, the angel eyes are really, really crappy. Basically 2 halogen bulbs that light up each ring. I'm going to show you what these look like here in a minute. But they just look dated. I mean, the headlights themselves look great, but the angel eyes look like crap. So we'll go and do a retrofit on these today. And that's what they look like. Standard halogen, not the most attractive in the world, so I'm going to go ahead and change that today. Basic tools to take apart this headlight. I'm going to remove all the bulbs and wiring, etc., because I don't want to bake it. And yes, you do have to bake these headlights open. They're sealed with a high temp silicone, which will only become soft if it's at a higher temperature. It makes taking them apart a little bit trickier, but it's overall not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the factory angel eye bulbs. Now, these are small halogen bulbs. And there's 2 per side with the main connector being right here. I'm not going to use these at all. So actually what I'm going to do is just cut the connection. I'll go ahead and cut the connection on this side here. Pull the wires through on this side. Go ahead and take a flathead here. Just like a little rubber grommet. And then once you move that grommet, I'm going to go ahead and cut this wire holding it in. And then you can go ahead and pull out the entire angel eye harness. This is what's normally in there. And I won't be reusing that, so feel free to discard. And then the last part here, remove the bulb holders. Toss those to the side as well. And I'm also going to go ahead and remove the auto leveler. Alright, so the auto leveling motor is removed, and there's 2 more screws right here on the side that I'm going to pull out. These kind of hold the edge of the headlight into the corner, so just remove those. And the next step would be to bake this headlight in the oven to basically soften up the silicone that holds it together. Alright, it was in the oven for about 15 minutes at 220 degrees. Now I start pulling it apart. Should just start pulling away. And as you're going around, pull the individual tabs. See how easily it's coming apart right here? This is what you're kind of looking for. Bottom part's a little tougher, you don't have a ton of room to work with. But, you know, I'm using a small screwdriver to kind of... Alright, so the headlight came apart. There's the lens. This is the inner shroud, which this will come out as well. And then kind of show you where I'm going to go from there. I have a couple of modifications I'm going to be doing too, like the cutoff for the projector, and a couple other minor things here and there. So Alright, so this is the inside of the headlight. So basically it's 3 pieces. You have the actual inside assembly, and you have the shroud with the angel eye rings, and then you have the lens. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go ahead and remove this entire assembly here. I actually need to do a new cutoff for the projector. This has a Euro cutoff in it, which honestly makes it impossible to do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that real quick. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is remove these old lighting assemblies. I mean, it's useless now. It's just honestly taking up space. You don't need to pull them out, but I'm going to, since I'm never going to use them again. It's basically 2 Phillips head screws per side that hold them in. And just pull them out. So that pretty much completes what I have to do with this piece there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this off to the side for now. This has a Euro cutoff in it, which the cutout is, or the cutoff for the HID is right there. And you can see it kind of dips down. I'm going to go ahead and fix that. I have this cutoff, which is a US spec cutoff. I'm just going to basically slide it in there, which that'll allow me to basically have a level cutoff. Alright, I slid the US spec cutoff in. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten down those screws, and then I'll be all set with this individual piece here. I mean, you don't have to do this, but I recommend it. I hate the Euro cutoff, and it's honestly just going to blind the shit out of other people. But these headlights are a replica of the actual European headlight, which is why it has that cutoff. So let's go ahead and tighten down those screws again, and this part will be all set. Looking down into it, you can see that the US spec cutoff there kind of dips off to the left. And that's kind of what you're looking for. So that'll give me better output, and it won't be blinding other people, which I guess is a positive. Alright, now I'm going to go start ahead and working on these, the angel eye here. Alright, this is a little bit easier to do on the low beam side versus the high beam side. Basically just going to lay these rings into place. Now, there is a specific retrofit kit out there for this, but honestly I'm not going to spend my money to do it. I'm just going to do it this way. Basically just need some Gorilla Glue to hold it in place, and then I'm going to wire in a new harness and should be all set. Fairly straightforward procedure. But I'm going to actually go ahead and remove the angel eye harnesses, or the shrouds, individually, and work on each one as a single unit. So this is the angel eye ring, and it has notches cut in the side. That helps it reflect light. And I'm going to be putting the angel eye ring, or the LED ring, on behind this part right here. Alright, that LED ring should basically sit in behind the shroud like that. I'm going to go ahead and obviously level it out, but you're not going to see any of this once you actually close the headlight back up, so doesn't need to be 100% clean, but this will basically just sit in behind that piece right there. I'll go ahead and use a couple of dabs of Gorilla Glue on this to hold it in place. Hot glue would also work here as well. Alright, so I'm going to let that one sit for a minute. And as I was mentioning before, you're going to be able to slightly see the LEDs inside, but it's not completely obvious either. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one settle. Shoot. Okay. This ring will be slightly visible through the headlight, but not too bad. So just gonna line this up how I want it to fit. Basically just gonna get the ring to sit inside like that. Once again, I'm gonna use some Gorilla Glue on it to make sure that it stays in place. Right now I'm just waiting for the glue to dry on it. So I'm basically using that tool right there to hold it in place. This one's already dry, putting it in, so put the shroud back in. If you look at it from the front, you can't really see the rings. I'll have to settle in the plastic trim piece there a little bit better, but you won't be able to see it. So my next step is going to basically test them, make sure that they work. Obviously, heat up the shrink tube here, make a solid connection. I'm gonna go test the angel eyes, make sure that they turn on. And then I'll go and reseal the headlight. Almost done. About 75% of the way there. That's what we're working with right now. Looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and put this headlight back together. So I put the assemblies mostly back together. I just gotta throw it back in the oven and let the silicone loosen up again. And then I can go ahead and reseal the headlight. You know, just make sure that there's no wires getting pinched when the assemblies are going back together. But other than that, you know, putting them back together is fairly straightforward. Let's go ahead and do that here in a minute. And the headlight assembly just sort of presses back together. That's all you really have to do. And then obviously just reassemble all the hardware that you pulled off of it.